evening. Welcome to the February 9th, 2026 Troy City Council meeting. This evening we are honored to have Senior Pastor Gerardo Aponte Safe from St. Stephen's Episcopal Church to provide our invocation. So please rise if you are able and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, source of light, truth, and love, look with your favor upon this gathering of civic leaders who serve the people of Troy. Fill them with wisdom and strength to tackle the mounting challenges around us, and in the face of fear and anxiety, they may lead with kindness and grace. Fill them with compassion and determination to discuss and debate the issues before them with the goal of bringing our communities together and resist the temptations of division. Fill them with courage and drive to work toward justice with mercy, that their work may strengthen the ties that link us in our common humanity in this bountiful land we call home. Bless us, O Holy One, and may your peace, which surpasses all understanding, guard our hearts and minds in your unending love. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call the February 9th, 2026 Troy City Council meeting to order and ask for the roll call from Ms. Dixon. Here.
Councilmember Bloom?
Here.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Chamberlain?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda?
Here.
Councilmember Gunn?
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton?
We do have quorum present this evening. First up are certificates of recognition and special presentations. We have none. We have no carryover items, no public hearings. So we move on to public comment for items on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. We have one person signed up, Dave Niffen. Please come forward. You know the rules, 3 minutes for our council rules of procedure.
Good evening, Dave Niffen, 5501 Boros. I had a concern of myself and on behalf of some of the residents I represent at the Golf Trails subdivision, and because the traffic committee is on the agenda, it seemed fitting to come today. There is a project going on, and I read the post that it's going to last up another 3 weeks or longer. There's a gas station on the corner of Rochester Road and Long Lake. It's a Sunoco, I believe, and we have all noticed and experienced a lot of traffic pouring through the gas station from Long Lake onto Rochester. And myself, I was getting gas once, and we have to watch out for cars coming through. And perhaps the traffic committee can look into it, or somebody, whatever, maybe position an officer there, put some signs up, do something to somehow prevent traffic using that as the roadway as opposed to using what they're supposed to do. It's presented a danger to a lot of people, and it's a concern that's been raised, and so I'm relaying that here. While I'm staying here, I also, myself and a few other people had a different concern. We see a lot of the ribbon cuttings going on online, and they're posted with proclamations. We had questions if these proclamations are at the expense of taxpayers, and if so, how are they chosen? And if so, is there a requirement to get that proclamation from the city to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes those that have signed up for public comment for items on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Now's an opportunity for council or administration to respond or reply. Councilmember Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. So I guess I have a question about the Sunoco that you mentioned, because I was actually at that same intersection today. And the traffic, it directs you to go through the gas station. You can't even make a right-hand turn right now onto Rochester Road from Long Lake. It actually directs you to go through the gas station, as far as my knowledge. So that was my experience. So I just wanted, I guess we can follow up on that as well, but that was my experience today going through that intersection.
Thank you. Councilmember Gunn.
I had some similar experience, but what I did observe police in the retail tire store. I forget the name of it right now, but
Bell Tire.
Yeah, Bell Tire. I did observe them, and I witnessed them pulling somebody over. I don't know if it's a regular thing that they're stationary there, but I do see the traffic being challenged that way.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge in that area.
As for the ribbon cutting information, it's a good question. The proclamations are created in-house here at City Hall. Typically, we have done proclamations at ribbon cuttings for businesses that have asked us. These days, after Cindy Stewart retired, most of them have been funneled through the Troy Chamber of Commerce, but that doesn't prohibit a business that's celebrating a new opening in Troy from requesting one and having the experience. So, anything else? All right. Next up, no postponed items. Regular business. I1 is board and committee appointments. I have no mayoral appointments, so I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Chanda for city council appointments.
So I hereby appoint Councilmember David Hamilton as the delegate to Southeast Michigan Council of Governors, SEMCOG, and Mayor Pro Tem Chanda to the alternate delegate.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Chanda, supported by Councilmember Brooks, that we approve the appointments of Councilmember David Hamilton as a delegate and Mayor Pro Tem Chanda as an alternate to the Southeastern Michigan Council of Government, SEMCOG, as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda,
Yes?
Councilmember Gunn.
Yes.
Motion carries. Are you doing the ZBA one as well? No. No, okay. That concludes city council appointments this evening. Next up, I2, board and committee nominations. I do have one nomination this evening I nominate Lisa Neal to the Global Troy Advisory Committee for the term expiring October 30th, 2028.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain, that we approve the nomination of Lisa Neal to Global Troy Advisory Committee for the term expiring October 30th, 2028. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda,
Yeah. Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes mayoral nominations this evening. I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Chanda for city council nominations.
Thank you, Mayor. I hereby nominate the following person to the Traffic Committee. Jasper Gill for the term expiring January 31st, 2029. Al Petroulis for term expiring January 31st, 2029. And Peter Wagenfielder also for the term expiring January 31st, 2029.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Chanda, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain, that we approve the nominations to the Traffic Committee of Jasper Gill, Al Petroulis, and Peter Ziegenfelder for the terms expiring January 31st, 2029. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda,
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes city council nominations this evening. We do not have a request for a closed session, so we move on to I4. Bid waiver, purchase of golf course equipment for Sylvan Glen Golf Course, and that'll be introduced by Brian Gould, our Recreation Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you is a bid waiver to purchase a piece of golf maintenance equipment for the Sylvan Glen Golf Course through Spartan Distributors of Auburn Hills, Michigan, using the Troon National Account pricing in the amount of $90,809.53. This amount is also budgeted in the Sylvan Glen capital account for this fiscal year.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian? Councilmember Gunn.
So this is, the equipment's only for Sylvan Glen, it wouldn't be used at the other golf course?
Yeah, this particular piece of equipment is just used at Sylvan Glen. It's basically a grinder which they use to sharpen the blades on the mowers.
Have we worked with this company before?
Usually Spartan Distributors is where we get almost all our stuff for the golf courses.
Thank you. Councilmember Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mayor. And my understanding is that the current equipment, so it's every item is replacing a current piece of item that is, it's lived its life, like 15 to 20 years. Is that correct?
Correct. When they asked the distributor if they'd be willing to buy the piece back, they said it's too outdated, they don't even want it, so.
And I want to presume that the items that we would approve, if approved, would also last another 15 to 20 years. Is that right?
Correct.
The quality?
Correct.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda.
I think it's in the memo, but just wanted to make sure everybody understands. One of the reasons we are doing the bid waiver is that we are getting a 5% discount also, and this is one of the suppliers.
In the past, we've compared Omnia Cooperative as well as True National pricing. Omnia does not offer this particular piece of equipment.
Okay.
So Troon is usually the cheapest, and so we went with them because we do get 5% off the MRSP.
Okay, thanks.
Someone like to move the resolution? Councilmember Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move I-4, bid waiver, purchase of golf course equipment for Sylvan Glen Golf Course as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Chamberlain, supported by Councilmember Gunn, that we approve I-4 bid waiver, purchase of golf course equipment for Sylvan Glen Golf Course as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda,
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up, I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, award to low bidder meeting specifications, pool repairs at Troy Family Aquatic Center, and budget amendment. Ryan Gould again from our Recreation Department.
Okay, this item before you is for approval of a contract to be awarded to the lowest bidder meeting specifications, Advanced Pool Services of Highland, Michigan, to replace concrete, remarcite the pools with Sunstone Antigua quartz, and regrout the tiles in all the pools for an estimated cost $417,500 with a 15% contingency of $62,625 for a total estimated cost of $480,125. It is also requested that a contract be awarded to Shaw Service and Maintenance of Southfield, Michigan through the Oakland County Extended Purchasing Contract to complete the electrical bonding work needed for this project in the amount of $7,062. Lastly, it is also requested that the Recreation Aquatic Center capital account be amended in the amount of $287,187 to complete this project. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Brian. Questions? Councilmember Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have a few questions. I meant to drive by on the way after work, but didn't have a chance. I presume that right now, after DPW did the work, the repairs, that it's pretty torn up, the concrete. Is that my understanding, reading the memo?
It's not huge areas, just where the leaks were found. So it's not a ton of concrete repairs, but it's enough that, the pool already needed to be remarcited. So this will just make it to where we can take it down to the base and be able to redo the whole bottom so that it'll be flush and.
Exactly. So, and my understanding is we have to do this because to be ready for spring, and then also, given the repairs happen, so redoing that concrete. But secondly, we are at the 6-year mark when you need to remarcite. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
If this project doesn't get done, the pool can't open, so.
Okay. Another question is around vendor. So I know some were disqualified. They didn't have experience. You've landed with Advanced Pool Services. Is that the one we've used in the past?
It actually is not, neither of these two were ones we used in the past. I don't know why the other bidder didn't do it. I know in the past they had mentioned that, they couldn't fit it into their schedule. So the one year was done in the fall instead of the spring because they were the only one that bid it in the past. That was Clearwater Pools. But they did not bid this or come to any, even to visit the site.
One thing I read in the memo is that some vendors excluded themselves because they felt it was too fast. So the vendor we've landed on, do we feel, do they have references that we've checked? Can you point to other municipalities or places that they?
Yeah, so they did a Wayne County park, the water park in Wayne County. They also have done a couple other pools that are our size. We called the references for them as well as the other company. The other company was more condo type jobs, which don't take as much time. We have told the bidder that, they can get in there as soon as they want if they want to start earlier. So it really just comes down to the weather. But we feel confident that with this vendor, that with the experience that they've done, that they'll get it done.
And Director Gould, I'm asking just after, the problems we had with the indoor pool, it was not marciting, it was a different process.
Right.
But there was problems with the contractor just doing too quick, not doing a good enough job. So again, just to assure me, you said it, but to say it again, you are confident that this contractor can
With
do the job.
with the experience they have, I feel much more confident than I did on the indoor pool company, so.
Okay. last question is on the quartz versus marsite. I know quartz is marsite, but it adds in
Yeah.
kind of these pebbles in it, and it lasts 7 to 8 years as opposed to the 5 to 6. I'm reminded of the study we did a couple of years ago. That was a study with an outside consultant that specializes in private pools, and they gave a number of great recommendations of things that we could do at the pool. Does this dovetail with any of also their recommendations?
This did not come up really in his visit. The main thing about this as well is the quartz is also a smoother surface. So we do get a lot of complaints from patrons about their feet getting torn up from the marsite on the bottom of the pool. And this will avoid that happening because it's a smoother floor as well. So the difference is the 5 to 6, 7 to 8. And for the price, I feel if the plan is to keep it 8 years, I feel that that amount is reasonable for that amount of time. And we also do get a 2-year warranty from this company as well, which is a big thing because it'll sit through a couple winters. So if something happens, we'll be able to go back to them.
And last question, kind of relates to the pool in general. I've been an advocate for trying to fit in some community engagement at some point. With the previous study that we did, it was more about how to maximize the space, less to engage it. Do we still think at some point we can try to think about how to engage both the users, which are non-residents, and residents, and be able to get some of their input on the future of the pool?
Yeah, I think we can work with Courtney to see what we can do. When we did do the master plan, we did get a lot of people that gave their info out there. We had a couple days where we were out there, so we did get a lot of feedback there as well. So the people will comment if we ask them, so.
And last thing is, that just makes me think, so with what we're choosing to do, the quartz, that'll last a little longer, it's a little more money than the marsite, that does dovetail well to the input you heard in the recreation master plan that we just approved, is that right?
I don't know if I would say it goes with the master plan,
Just
but
people's value that they place in the pool
yeah,
that
they,
we're investing.
yeah,
in this period of time.
correct. They want it to be open. They want it. The people that go there want it to be as nice as it can be. So that's part of the reason Dennis and I thought that the courts would be the better solution.
Thank you.
Any more last questions, Councilmember Chamberlain?
That's it.
Mayor Pro Tem
My
Chavez.
first and last question. So thank you, Director Gold. I also did some research on the quartz, and in fact, they're showing almost 10 years of life expectancy, so probably more than 7 years, but depending on the weather and usage. My question to you is, I think we're going to invest a significant amount of money, almost close to $500,000. Are we sure that all the leak things are taken care of? Are we confident that?
So, the big leaks that were found by the company that did the detection are taken care of. There are still a few smaller leaks that we'll take care of when the weather breaks with Kurt and his staff. They're just small leaks around the slides and things like that that can be caulked and things like that. So can I guarantee you that there's no other leaks? I can't guarantee that.
Right.
I'm not a mind, that pool kind of has a mind of its own. So can I guarantee you nothing will happen when we go to open it? I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee you we've done the best that we can to make sure that the leaks are fixed, and we did it at a much cheaper price than it could have been, so.
Yeah, the reason I was asking, if we find some more leaks, and it's possible we'll find
Yeah.
some small leaks here and there. If the major ones are taken care of, we put all these tiles there, and then we have to remove it and
Yeah,
again
and
fix.
it is
So
a possibility.
That's
I
a
can't-
possibility,
yeah.
but that's the risk we need to take, knowing what we know today
Correct.
to open the, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now, I would assume you wouldn't recommend spending this money to do new quartz if the leaks were still a problem. They would.
Well, I feel
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
confident that with the company that we use to find the leaks, I feel very confident in the job they did. They came up with a lot of spots that needed it, and so and I know Kurt's staff did a great job out there too. So I feel confident that the big ones are taken care of.
Okay.
Any other questions? I actually kind of have a question that follows off of Councilmember Chamberlain's comments. Well, maybe it's more of a statement. I'll save it for discussion, but it is a question. Have there been, since that,
We are always looking at how to make how we can make the place better. You know, I mean, there's things like redoing the building to have locker rooms that are family-friendly,
Right.
things like that. You know, that's one of the biggest complaints we get. The slide, there's still a lot of things that still need to be replaced, like the sand filters need to be replaced. The play structure is getting to the end of its life. So there's things that still need to be done that, you know, looking to the future, yes, it would be great to add things, but if you have to choose between a filter to keep it open or adding a slide, you're going to go with the filter, so.
Sounds like the same needs versus wants conversation we tend to have, because
Yep.
I know the community really wants a splash pad. I'm sure many of you have heard that, so maybe someday. But okay, I just wanted to ask if there was anything further thought on that. Someone would like to move the resolution? Mayor Pro Tem Chanda.
I move I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, award to low bidder bidding specifications for pool repairs at Troy Family Aquatic Center, TFAC, and budget amendment as printed on the agenda packet.
Support?
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Chanda, supported by Councilmember Gunn, that we approve I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, award to low bidder meeting specifications, pool repairs at Troy Family Aquatic Center, TFAC, and budget amendment as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda,
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain.
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes regular business this evening. Next up is the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Councilmember Hamilton's not here. Someone like to move the consent agenda? Councilmember Chamberlain.
I'll move all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Chamberlain, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Chanda, that we approve all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chanda.
Yes.
Motion carries. If you're here for an item on the consent agenda, all have been approved. There are no memorandums and future council agenda items to announce, so we move on to public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. We have two people signed up, two people who know the rules, so which are printed in our council rules of procedure. So first up is Mary Ellen Barden. Mary Ellen, you signed up 3 times, probably didn't realize it was doing that, but you only get one, so.
No, I know, but it said it didn't go, so it made me do it again.
Oh, well, good. All right, well, I know you're here 3 times. Come on up.
Sorry. Technical difficulties follow me everywhere. Hello, Mayor Baker and council members. Tonight, I would like to make some general comments regarding concerns I have about the availability of city documents. While I was ultimately able to obtain the documents I needed with help from members of the council, thank you, you know who you are, it should not be this difficult. I should not have to explain my personal reading challenges in order to obtain printed copies of city documents. I don't believe I am the only resident who cannot effectively read from digital files. Mayor Baker, you saw my table of materials that I relied on when I was working to preserve the easement from the PUD behind our homes. The planning ordinance and master plan together exceed 600 pages. While I appreciate the greatly reduced fees offered by staff, I question why residents should have to pay in order to meaningfully participate in civic matters. I am recommending that hard copies of these documents always be available at the community to borrow. At the very least, available for on-site use at the library. Residents cannot provide constructive or informed public comment without usable access to necessary resources. This will, of course, vary among residents, and there should be no charge for that access. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Green.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Earlier in his beautiful invocation, non-political, neutral, not choosing sides, only posting about your connection to Ronald Reagan, one of the 2 men most responsible for the massive wage stagnation of the working class for the past 40 years. Like I said, neutral. But neutral is unacceptable. Silence is complicity. I've adapted the following passage from a post by Heather Cox Richardson. Recently, in Surprise, Arizona, in an official statement, the city claimed ignorance of DHS facilities and activities, saying federal projects are not subject to local regulations such as zoning. But on Tuesday, February 3rd, one of the speakers reminded the Council of Ohrdruf, the first Nazi camp liberated by U.S. troops, on April 4th in 1945. He said, "The U.S. Army brought the leading citizens of Ohrdruf to tour the facility, which turned out to be part of the Buchenwald network of concentration camps. A U.S. Army colonel told the German civilians who viewed the scenes without muttering a word that they were to blame. One of the Germans replied that what happened in the camp was done by a few people, and you cannot blame us all. And the American, who could have been any one of our grandfathers, said, this was done by those that the German people chose to lead them, and all are responsible." The morning after the tour, the mayor of Ohrdruf killed himself, and maybe he did not know the full extent of the outrages that were committed in his community, but he knew enough. And we don't know exactly how ICE will use his warehouse, but we know enough. I ask you to consider what the mayor of Ohrdruf might have thought before he died. Maybe he felt like a victim. Maybe he thought, how is this my fault? I had no jurisdiction over this. Maybe he would have said, the site was not subject to local zoning. What could I do? But I think when he reflected on the suffering that occurred at the camp just outside of town, that those words would have sounded hollow even to him, because in his heart he knew, as we do, that we are all responsible for what happens in our community. Your silence is damning.
Thanks, Aaron. That concludes those that have signed up for public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Now's an opportunity for council and administration to reply. I'm going to start with Mary Ellen. I think that's actually a good idea. I think we should have copies available at the library or community center to use there, maybe on site. I mean, I understand everything. I don't know if Frank.
We have copies at the city manager's office, planning department, and third set will be at the library. Help people with after hours because the city hall closes a little bit earlier. We could also put a set at the community center.
Okay, that's good. Councilmember Chamberlain?
Thank you, Mayor. If I could add on to
Please.
that, is there a way we could publicize through social media to make sure that residents know that you can get a copy of the master plan or the proposed budget, the past budget, in these key locations? I say that because I remember years ago, before we had our bond, we had a lot of great study sessions. And I'm going to look at Deputy City Manager Bruner. We went through these amazing PowerPoints, and we talked about putting them in the library. I don't know if they ended up there, but the bigger thing is, even if they do end up there, are we making people aware? Is there a sign in the library, like when you walk in, that you would know somewhere that you can get a copy of the master plan, get a copy of the current budget? The proposed budget? Like, how do we, so I don't think it's just about putting them in those locations. It's a good start, and I think some of that we have done and we seek to do, but how do we make that very clear to people so they want to engage it? So just put that out there.
Should be communicated as well, yeah, in some form. At least, at the very least, on our website saying they're there instead of looking at the online version, but
Yeah,
some
I'll
other.
ensure that's updated and so people know.
Councilmember Gunn, did you have something?
That was exactly my suggestion. Put it on the website, let them know that where it would be at, so, yeah.
Does anyone want to speak to Aaron, or should I do that? All right. Aaron, I appreciate you coming forward, and I can see where you're at, and I understand your, knowing you for the past several years, I know, I do feel your pain over what's going on in the country, and I respect it and can feel it along with you at times. I'm not sure it stretches to the comparisons to being a Nazi and killing myself, but I understand where you were going with that. I want to say, you know, other mayors have made statements. Look at our friends next door, our mayor there, he's struggling a little bit and getting a lot of support and also getting a lot of anger at him. And now he's at odds with his police department. Our police chief is consistently think anything I really say on the matter tonight will satisfy you, and I also respect that, knowing where you're coming from. But I don't want you to think for a minute that I'm not deeply aware of what's going on in the country and deeply aware of what's affecting residents here in the city of Troy. And throughout the rest of the country. And I consistently have believed that statements that I make don't necessarily help and often make things worse. And you've emailed about that a little bit. I think you thought or think that I say that to try to thread some needle in a way that keeps me politically safe or neutral, as you put it. I am deeply convicted in the fact that things that I say can be taken to places outside of this city and then come back and hurt the residents and destroy the city that I'm trying to protect. You may not agree. I get that, and we've talked a little bit about that. I continue to monitor things in my role from this seat. Again, we as a council of, David's not here, but 7 individual opinions. We often have joint opinions on things. I know that when Mike Taylor, for example, made his statements, there were some on his council who were very upset with him for doing that. And not because they disagreed with him, but because they thought it was out of process and put Sterling Heights residents at risk. I'm not going to do that here in the city of Troy. My statement to you is, I appreciate you coming in, trying to keep me honest, and making sure that you feel a certain ounce of our mayor's not turning a blind eye and complicit. I don't look at it that way. I see how you may. And I'm going to leave it at that for right now. And there's almost 90,000 residents here in the city of Troy who have very strong opinions about some of these things as well. And I know for a fact that many of them are deeply, deeply concerned and hurting and worried. I get that. So please know that I know that. And I have a lot of faith in our public safety officials here in this city, and that they will do whatever it takes to keep the city of Troy and its residents safe. Okay? Thank you. Anyone else? All right, that concludes council or administration reply to public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. We have no council referrals. There are no reports to comment on. So council comments. Councilmember Gunn.
Few comments on a couple different things that I've had many communications with some of the residents, but one of the things is the roads. I've heard from people complaining about it's taken 3 weeks longer, but and before I became on city council, I thoroughly didn't understand the process on these roads. But I think, as I've come to learn, a lot of these delays, DTE and gas, they've got their job to do to let the roads be completed. There's the contractors. Certainly, yeah, it is the winter, but it's not like we just all of a sudden say, okay, we've got the money, let's go do the roads. It takes years of planning, design, engineering. So, we always complain during the summer and during the months, oh boy, these roads are terrible. But here we have a major project, and hats off to DPW, Kurt, and the team following up on this project, because it is going to make our life a lot better on Rochester Road. So I guess I would just share with me as well, just be patient and let them do their job, and we'll all be able to enjoy this road coming up fairly soon. Another comment I want to make is on, I have had a very big passion about protecting seniors, and as I say that, as I slowly become one, on scams. I had a family member that was taken advantage of. So I want to make it a point to, when I see something come up, bring it out. The more we talk about it, the more it's exposed, the more we can protect the seniors. And there was one where you see a lot of times on Facebook, people are advertising something for sale, and someone contacts them and they want to Venmo them the money, right? Well, lately they've been asking them for their email, and you don't need the email to Venmo somebody money. All right, so that's a scam that's been going around. I saw some things in Troy, and I just want to make everybody aware of it who's watching or here. A third thing that's come up and a lot has been brought to my attention, text, emails, calls, that, hey, are you guys ever going to do anything about the fire? Well, here's the thing. I have tremendous respect for the volunteer firefighters. I have family members that are volunteer firefighters, and they have been for years, and I know the struggles and the challenges. I know there's a program in place. I know that the committee has brought to the city. I know there's been discussion. I would just say, no, there is something being talked about, and at the appropriate time, it will be discussed. So I don't want it to be believed that there's no consideration for the firefighters, because there is. And I have a lot of respect for them. And I just don't want it to be known that we don't care, because we do very much. So.
Thank you, Councilmember Gunn. Councilmember Bloom.
Just a few comments. Last week, the Troy High had their charity week, of which they raised $37,000 for the Be Like Bilal Foundation. I just wanted to bring that here because I know it was the impassioned speech from his dad, and it touched so many of our kids and people in our community. Athens is this week, and they're raising money for New Day Foundation, and so I think that's an amazing effort by high school students, and just want to encourage everyone to keep that up. February 26th, also the Hammerheads, which are our robotics team here in Troy, are having a opportunity to not only fundraise, but to see the robots in action. So it's a great opportunity to see what kids in Troy are doing, and they're the future engineers. So a great way to see that. And then also, if you haven't noticed, the Spring 2026 Rec Guide, you're able to sign up on the 10th. And for those of you who are eager to get on the community garden waiting list, don't hesitate. Those spots go very quickly. That's all I've got.
Let me go to this side. I'll come back to Councilmember Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to follow Councilmember Gunn, what you shared about the fire department. My own brother-in-law lives outside of the U.S., is a firefighter. We received, since the last meeting, we received an update in our Q&A about the fire department. It's been cold. It's been very cold. They responded to 75 calls for service in 10 days, and that was written from January 28th. So I just want to take a moment to let them know that we appreciate what you're doing. And they were operating, as shared to us, day and night in temperatures that sometimes reach -15 degrees Fahrenheit. So difficult conditions. So yes, we stand with our fire department, and we'll be honoring them at the end of this month at our annual firefighters banquet, where we honor them. Different topic completely. I realize it's the second week of February, everyone, and budget season will be on us before we know it. When we came out of our advanced session, we talked about community engagement and how we move forward after the bond. One of the ideas a number of us talked about is actually building off of something we've done in the past here, and it's worked quite well, was having this financial ideas team. I realize being in the second week of February, time is ticking, and so I would look to city management for input on what will you need from us to move something forward. Would at some point we need to have some kind of consensus? Because ideally, a fit team, the way it happened in the past, you could do it differently, but I think it really works to build it out around the budget study sessions. And if you wanted to start kind of more simple this year, you could work with our committees, like our traffic committee. You could invite members from existing committees to take part in a special, I believe it was like 1 or 2 sessions. I used to take part in it. And it's incredibly helpful to just as a way to bring the community along, for them to ask their questions, get to see what we see. So I just want to put that out there, because I really, personally, and this is just me, I would like to see this up and running by the time of the budget study sessions that we start in April. And I realize the clock is ticking on that. So I would defer to city management and also my colleagues and seeing where people are at on that.
Are you seeking consensus to? I mean, that is it's a heavy lift from a time standpoint. I mean, I'm supportive of. I do believe that's something that would do very well. I don't know about the timing from the standpoint of. I don't know if the benefit will be achieved from without knowing what's in the budget and certain projects on there. It's hard to say, but certainly, it would be nice to engage something like the financial ideas team on a smaller level for this budget season, and on a broader level as we work on capital needs in the next year or two, for sure. But I'm with Councilmember Chamberlain on that. Have been. I don't know where council. Actually, most of council who's here now has never experienced that. You were on it on the team, and it was something around when I was just a member of council. But I don't know, Frank, if you want to think about that and then maybe get back with us.
I take direction from you folks, so if there's a consensus, yeah, there's not a lot of time, so
Right.
we can maybe dip our toes into it and then build it up from there for, capital and moving forward, but.
It's
if
hard
that's
to,
what-
it's hard for me to see consensus when I'm not sure that everybody fully understands what it is that
I know.
we're talking about. So that's why I'm hesitant to do
How
that.
long ago was that, the 15?
2017, 18?
Okay, that wasn't me, so, yeah, I
You weren't
need
even
to
police
wrap
chief then,
myself
probably,
around
was
it
Gary,
too.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be that exactly. There were issues with that as well. But I think that to Councilmember Chamberlain's point is that we've talked a lot about community engagement, and this is a way to bring some people inside. We could, frankly, we're brainstorming from the table, it's not good, sorry. But, the community academy members who have kind of experienced some of their, they loved the finance stuff. Maybe some of them would be interested in kind of doing a deeper dive.
What maybe didn't work well? Do you recommend doing that again from your perspective, or what would you tweak? We want to see something. I mean, I want to see something, but for you to give that input, and then that's something we could react to and kind of, give a consensus to or something. But I want to give space for you all to have the conversations of what happened in the past.
Is there consensus to have him provide at least some preliminary information?
Support.
You're good on that?
Support, yeah.
Yes,
So there-
yes.
You got that? All right, okay.
Yeah,
Mayor Pro Tem
I did
John.
not know, I was going to ask, thanks for the opportunity. I don't exactly know what the fit is, but I think some level of fine tuning or, some level of discussion is needed. And I kind of spoke about that in the January meeting. So I would support, I think it's getting more feedback is what I'm understanding from some of the stakeholders, correct? So thanks for that. And I know it's probably, the timing is very tight, but in a way, this is our opportunity to, because once the budget is there, it is mostly there. We basically explain the budget, we explain what it is, but we don't really make a whole lot of changes, and which is the right thing, because that's the recommendation from the city. So turning back to my comments are, I think Councilmember Bloom already talked about the Troy High Activist Week. I watched that, and the theme was, among many fun things, they did this Be Like Bilal, and this is particularly important because many of you probably remember that Bilal's dad came to the city council after an unimaginable tragedy where he lost his son to a sudden heart attack, and it was probably the most gut-wrenching as well as the heartwarming moment of my 2 years in the council, when he spoke, praising the first responder, praising the city staff, the school staff. I can't even imagine how somebody can do that. I could not speak myself. And their family, their friends, their classmates have converted that tragedy into something really good. They raised about $37,000, I think, arranging CPR training, AED training for high school kids, doing a regular heart check. So a lot of good things are coming out of that. They're really celebrating and honoring the life of Bilal. So I just wanted everybody to know, those who are watching and the citywide. And I think they're getting tremendous response from the school. So again, all the tragedies could lead to something good. The other thing I wanted to mention also, this is February and we are celebrating the Black History Month. And I believe I didn't know about this. This is the 2025 marks the 50th anniversary of the federal recognition of Black History Month, and was started by a famous Michigander, President Gerald Ford. And even more profound is that 100 years ago, Dr. Carter Woodson established the first celebration of its kind. So this is a dual celebration of Black History Month, and that's something we as a city also celebrating.
Okay, I guess thank you, Mayor. I guess I could probably talk about every single thing that all my other council members have said, but as I was going to say, it is February and Happy Black History Month, so I'll just keep it very brief.
All right.
That's it.
Happy Valentine's Day, too, to everybody, of course.
Thank you.
There we go. I have nothing else tonight, so thank you, everybody. Good comments. We have no closed session. We have nobody signed up for public comment for items on or not on the agenda from members of the public outside of Troy. We have no closed session, so we're adjourned.